Ahoy. Cheers. Welcome to the Piper's Table. We're here for a magnificently complex and nuanced, very Englishy Equinox. So, Merry Mabon and glad even night to all of you mad Celts and Scandinavians out there who might be tuning in. And to the rest of you, hope you're still enjoying this lovely Equinox day. The weather is fantastic up here in the north. It was one of those perfect autumnal days where if you were in the sun, it was almost too hot for the flannel, but as soon as you were out of the sun, the wind had a really nice, crisp kind of chill to it. We've got a lot of fall foliage starting to really pop off. Leaves are starting to fall. I feel like I have used my leaf blower to blow off about 10,000 acorns off the driveway a day for the last 2 weeks. I can't keep up with it. I really ought to collect them up and do something with them, but I would feel like I was robbing from my squirrel friends. Anyways, we said we're having a very English session right now. I'm smoking a magnificent English blend out of an English pipe, enjoying an English style beer. And I gotta say, I never had this tobacco until now, and I'm doing my best to kind of check back in with you guys and get back up on making some more videos. I'm keeping them kind of short to help facilitate being able to hopefully pump out some more and talk about a lot of these new tobaccos that I've been collecting. So I knew very little about this blend, and I kind of just got out here, lit it up, and man, it actually really surprised me. I started to record a video, like 9 minutes of rambling. I had to delete it because the tobacco caught me so off guard with how good it was. I just kind of floundered about and rambled. And anyways, I only really have about 10 minutes max that I can do at a time because of whatever issues I'm having with my phone and memory. It's horrendously outdated, and I'm not really in a hurry to update the phone because I don't really care about technology that much, to be quite honest with you. What I do care about is this. And this right here in this jar is from Sutliff. It is from the Birds of a Feather series. It is the only English blend from that series, and it is the Eccentric blend. I don't know why I'm showing you a jar. I know the lighting is dark and not conducive to being able to see well, or let alone read a label. But anyways, excuse me, Sutliff Eccentric, and this is from March 30th of last year. So it's got a good year and some change on it. Anyways, it's a fantastic tobacco. Really, I'm really kind of blown away by it. It's awesome. It's you can get it in a kind of a crumble cake. These little cut plugs, and they're beautiful. They feel really dense, like they're going to be kind of almost moist, like they need some drying time. But once you start to break them up, they're really it breaks up lovely, and it packs and lights quite easily. I have a really sharp knife that I only use for cutting tobacco, and I've been really into slicing them really thin, like almost more like a shag cut. And I found on some of the Balkans and the English crumble cakes, you don't need to really let it dry when you do that. You can kind of just pack it up and smoke it, and it lights. It might take you a second to get it going, but it stays going pretty well. But anyways, for the tobacco here, it's a Latakia, Red Virginia, a Catarini, which is an Oriental Perique. It's got another Virginia, maybe a couple other Virginias in it, I'm not positive, and a Burley. And it's really interesting to me because some of the Englishes, especially when they're a little bit more mild or medium, are, you know, there's all the flavors there, but they kind of come together in this kind of like singular type of way, and they're pleasant, but they're not necessarily super complex. In this one, it's like the Latakia, it's like it wants to be at the forefront always. It wants to be the star player, but it is interrupted in like rapid succession by all these other leaves that are in there and their flavor contributions. And even though the change in the is really kind of abrupt, it's also seamless. I haven't really smoked in English quite like this, to be honest with you. Not something that kind of hits like this, where the nuances are so kind of bam, there they are, and then they fade into something else in this like seamless, like flowing way. It's really something. And the Latakia, the way that the Latakia and the Catarini kind of balance with each other almost smokes more like a Balkan than an English. But there's this really interesting kind of like underlying roasty, malty, kind of roasted nut thing going on that's from the Burley that's in this blend. And it's kind of there on the inhale, but then when you, on the retrohale, if you give it a second, almost when you touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth, it's like this, wow, this like really exceptionally delicious kind of like roasted nutty flavor that's such an interesting nuance with this, because it's got this like really nice kind of that tangy fermented kind of thing going on from the Red Virginias. There's like a bit of a grassy, almost bordering on like a citrus kind of oil note that is just as soon as the oil part would start to be kind of like bitter, it's like the Catarini cuts in with this like beautiful earthy like incense kind of thing that fades out into this sort of floral flavor. And then the Latakia creeps back in. It's this smokiness. And it's like the Latakia is almost like the carrier for all these other flavors. They're just dancing around in there. But anyways, it's an awesome tobacco. You really ought to try some if you get a chance. If you have some, I'd love to hear what you think. But anyways, something different. I'm going to leave you quickly before I run out of time with a poem that a friend of mine wrote. I'm going to leave his name anonymous, but I'm going to share you his poem. Open the gates, shatter the locks, make straight the way on Equinox. For slave or king, the cold lord still knocks, and steals the breath on Equinox. Twixt life and death, each day we walk. The veil grows thin on Equinox.